Wait, one or two, bro.
Flex it. Hey, what if we get I'm speaking on this, we get a million views on this dude?
We gotta find stuff to do.
Huh?
We gotta find stuff to do.
Look, bro, I be pulling too many girls for us. You know how many girls. Look, let me tell you, I'm a friend. See, they got this girl.
Name Latoya, she texted me. She said 99 timer.
Yeah, she a little freak. A little Alabama freak.
Might be. Two different girls.
Oh, never mind. No, never mind.
You messing us up.
My fault.
Now she sees it, she gonna say.
Oh.
Who was the Alabama girl?
Oh, my fault, time, my fault. Look, wait, which one Latoya? One of those two?
Yeah, Latoya in there.
You talk to her? No, not like talk to her. I'm talking on the phone. You talk to her? Yeah, talk to her. Dang, this dude. And then look, so anyway, look, I was walking today. So I was thinking, this dude, we're supposed to go to the movies tonight.
We can go.
Friday today.
Last weekend.
Huh?
Go last weekend.
Yeah, we were supposed to go last weekend. This dude did not cancel on. Look, man, let me tell you what happened.
I ain't cancel because we rescheduled. We just ain't go.
Yeah.
Go somebody texting me.
Somebody texted me.
Is it Latoya?
Somebody.
Who is Latoya?
Oh, Latoya, the girl that goes to school. I thought you text, she don't text you.
I just said she texted me.
No, this dude right here be lying. This dude be talking about you.
I talk on the phone. I said no.
No, look, first I said, do we talk on the phone? He said,
No.
He said no. Then I asked him if he text. He said, now he's saying yeah. Then at first he said no. Look, YouTube, look. If y'all give me some views, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be happy. Look, I need Goku views so I can get on, what you call it, that they do with all that, they're showing them on MTV and all that. They said, yeah. That's what I'm trying to get. Yeah, his battery dying. Still dying. You know we in Baton Rouge, Louisiana right now, though. But we white/black. We listen to white rap. Then we know how to sing and rap. Oh man, that's my little brother. Oh, that little boy is bad, I swear. Violent. He's so silver. That boy is tame. Look. Let me see that grill. I wanna see my wife. Yeah, I'm grill. Alright, go back in the room, mama now. Go ahead. Oh, matter of fact, you know what? You know I gotta pull out the seat. You know.
That's what his brother stole.
Come on, little mama. Huh?
That for you?
Oh no, that's for my mom. Oh man, my mom about sad. Oh yeah, just to let y'all know, if I know y'all, my name Malcolm Williams. You already know. Some of y'all know me.
Boy, Tyrin.
Yeah, Tyrin. Tyrin. Yeah, you know. So, anyway.
Facebook, MySpace, Twitter.
You know.
Blog.
I be trying to do some of that
I got
stuff.
another message.
But you know I'm on Black Planet with the old people. You know that, huh?
No.
Black Planet, Black Planet, bro. I'm Black Planet, bro. Black Planet, Bebo. Matter of fact, you can catch me on Buku stuff. Buku stuff. You can catch me on a lot. But you know, guess what happened? Flex. I don't even know how to flex. Let me stop. But guess what happened yesterday? But anyway, like I'm saying, it was today Friday, February the 26th, 2010. This dude, we could have went to the movie.
Now we bored making YouTube videos.
Bored making YouTube videos. Trying to give you, that's what people do sometimes.
We need to do a single ladies video.
Single up. Anyway, so y'all wanna see my I ain't about to show y'all. She gonna be mad if I put on YouTube. She got some video on there, you know. But anyway,
it's gonna be a long video.
I know, so my booty itchy, man. My booty itchy. Oh. Wanna get that one right quick? Man, look, let me say something. I know. Look, I can get too many of this. Look, they got this one girl. They go to school with me. She be calling people baby and stuff. She'll go out with anybody she finds. She'll go out with. Yeah. Booty sitting way up here. She's like my boy Tyrin. She like be quiet real quick. She used to like my boy Tyrin. Now she like another dude. She's good. How you like somebody? How you like my boy?
The munches.
The munches. The munches. I got
the munches.
I got the munches. The munches. He got the munches on his shoes. We got the munches on our blazers. Diamonds in our skins. The munches on the blaze. The munches.
You go get the white G-Nights.
You don't want to whip the G-Nights out. They don't want the G-Nights out. They don't want the. They
go ahead and lick them.
I appreciate it.
Oh, Mike. That's the G-Nights. Mr. G-Night juice. Eric, get off the bed. He always jumping in the bed. He don't never understand when to stop jumping in the bed. It's like I gotta slap him on the back of that coconut. That boy got a coconut head. Like I have to slap him on. Do I gotta slap him on the back of that coconut? If I gotta slap him on the back of that coconut, I will slap him on the back of that coconut. I will slap. I will slap him on the back of that coconut if I have one. Look, I'm wrong with the dude, you know.
We secretly replaced these diners with AT&T smartphones with Verizon.
Playing with the camera.
See what happens.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna be like the news. Remember, make him come in the room like this. Make him come in the room like this. You blocking the camera. Violent.
Buy any smartphone after mailing rebate and get any next phone free after mailing.
Look at him. Fighting. He always trying to fight me. Always trying. Look at him. He always got me. Look at him. Why are you grabbing me? Oh. Why you gotta sweat? Alright, look.
This happens on a daily basis.
Here. Look, that old man is crazy. Alright, look. Y'all can catch us on our part 2 of this. Cause this video,
what we gonna call this video?
Too long. What we gonna call it?
Random.
Tyrin and Malcolm.
Random.
Yeah, random.
And Eric.
Yeah, Eric. You know, y'all catch us on our second part. Yeah.